Ebele sat on her bed, crying quietly so her husband wouldn't hear. Through the window, she could see her neighbor's children playing in the yard. Their laughter felt like tiny knives in her heart. 8 years. That's how long she'd been married to Obinna. 8 whole years. And still no baby. Maybe you're cursed, her mother-in-law had said last week, loud enough for others to hear. At the market yesterday, 2 women were talking. They didn't know Ebele was behind them. That Ebele woman, eh? Her womb is like a desert, dry, dry, dry. The other woman laughed. Even cactus grows in the desert. Her own is worse than desert. Ebele had dropped her basket and run home, tears blinding her eyes. Now, as the sun went down, she made a decision. The old women in the village told stories about the river. They said a spirit lived there, a woman who was half human, half fish. Some called her a mermaid. Others called her Mmiri Oma, which means beautiful water. People who are desperate go there, the story said. But be careful. The river spirit always collects her debts. Ebele didn't care about warnings anymore. She was tired of the shame, tired of the whispers, tired of going to baby showers and pretending to be happy while her heart was breaking. That night, when the full moon rose high and bright, Ebele sneaked out of her house. Obinna was snoring softly. He was a good man, always telling her, God's time is the best. But even his kindness couldn't heal the pain anymore. The path to the river was dark and scary. Branches grabbed at her wrapper like skeleton fingers. Strange sounds came from the bushes, rustling, hissing, movement. Ebele's heart was beating so fast. She thought it might jump out of her chest. But she kept walking. When she reached the river, the moon made the water look like liquid silver. Everything was quiet except for the gentle sound of water flowing. Ebele fell to her knees at the edge. Mirioma, she called out, her voice shaking. If you're real, please help me. I'm begging you, give me a child, just one child. I'll do anything. At first, nothing happened. Ebele felt foolish. Here she was, a grown woman, talking to a river like it could hear her. Then the water began to move. It wasn't the normal flow of a river. The water was rising, swirling, forming shapes. Ebele's breath caught in her throat. A woman emerged from the river. She was the most beautiful thing Ebele had ever seen. Her skin glowed like moonlight. Her hair was long and black, flowing down her back like silk. But from her waist down, instead of legs, she had a tail covered in shimmering scales that changed colors: green, blue, silver, purple. Ebele couldn't speak. She couldn't even breathe properly. You called me, the mermaid said. Her voice sounded like music and water mixed together. You want a child? Yes, Ebele stammered. Please, just one. I promise I'll be the best mother. I'll take care of the baby so well. The mermaid raised her hand, and Ebele fell silent. I will give you something better than one child, Mmiri Oma said, swimming closer. I will give you 2. Twins, a boy and a girl. They will be healthy, beautiful, and smart. Ebele's heart felt like it would explode with joy. Thank you. Oh, thank you. I'll never forget this. But, the mermaid interrupted, her eyes suddenly serious. You must keep a promise. Every full moon, you will bring these children to this river. Let them play in my waters. Let me see them growing. As long as you remember me, they will live and be strong. But if you forget me, the mermaid's voice became cold, like ice water. If you forget me, I will take back what I gave you. Ebele nodded so hard her neck hurt. I promise. I'll come every full moon. I swear it. The mermaid smiled, but it wasn't a warm smile. Promises made in desperation are the easiest to forget. But you have spoken. Your wish is granted. She dove back into the water, and everything became still again. as if nothing had happened. Ebele walked home in a daze. Did that really happen? Or was she so sad that her mind was playing tricks? 4 months later, Ebele was cooking soup when she suddenly felt dizzy. The room spun around her. "Obinna," she called out. "Something is wrong." Her husband rushed her to the clinic. The nurse checked her, then smiled big. "Madam, nothing is wrong with you. You're pregnant." Ebele started crying. Obinna started crying. Even the nurse's eyes got wet. "And it's not just one baby," the nurse added, looking at the small scanning machine. "You're having twins." The news spread through the village faster than fire in dry grass. People who had laughed at Ebele now came to her house with gifts. Women who had called her cursed now wanted to touch her belly for good luck. "It's a miracle," they said. "God has finally answered," others shouted. Ebele's mother-in-law, who had been so mean, now cooked for her every day. "I knew it would happen," she lied. "I was just testing your patience." The pregnancy was smooth. No sickness, no problems. And when the time came, Ebele gave birth to 2 perfect babies. The boy came out first, crying loud and strong. His skin was smooth like fresh palm oil. His eyes were bright and curious. "Madu," Ebele whispered, holding him. "I'll call you Madu. It means life." The girl came next, quieter, but just as beautiful. Her tiny fingers wrapped around Ebele's thumb. "Adeze," Ebele said, kissing her forehead. "You are my crown, my princess." The village celebration lasted 3 days. There was music, dancing, and so much food. People ate until their bellies were round. Children ran around playing. Old women danced like they were young again. Obinna couldn't stop smiling. He carried his children around, showing them to everyone like they were made of gold. For the first time in 8 years, Ebele felt complete. The shame was gone. The mockery was gone. She was finally a mother. The first year was busy but beautiful. Madu learned to roll over, then sit up, then crawl. Adeze was a quiet baby who smiled at everything. Their laughter filled the house. Every full moon, Ebele remembered her promise. She would wrap the babies on her back and walk to the river. She'd let them splash in the shallow water while she said quiet prayers of thanks. Sometimes, while the babies played, Ebele would see something shimmer under the water. A flash of scales. A shadow that moved like it had a tail. She knew Mirioma was watching, and it made her feel both grateful and nervous. But as the months passed, things changed. The babies started walking, then talking. They needed constant attention. Ebele was always tired cooking, cleaning, washing clothes, bathing the children, putting them to sleep, waking up when they cried at night. One full moon, Madu had a small fever. "I can't take him to the river when he's sick," Ebele told herself. "I'll go next month." Next month came. There was a big wedding in the village. Everyone would think I'm strange if I miss the wedding to go to the river, Ebele thought. "I'll go the following month." The following month, it rained heavily on the full moon night. The path will be too slippery and dangerous with the children, Ebele reasoned. Next time for sure. Before she knew it, a whole year had passed. Then another year. The twins were now 3 years old, running around and playing. The river became a distant memory, something from another life. Ebele's aunt came to visit one afternoon. She was an old woman with sharp eyes that seemed to see everything. "Ebele," she said, watching the children play. "When last did you go to the river?" Ebele was pounding yam. She laughed. "Auntie, I don't have time for that anymore. Look at these children, they keep me busy from morning till night." "But you made a promise," the old woman said quietly. "That was different," Ebele said, waving her hand. "I was desperate then. I didn't know what I was saying. These children are here because God blessed me, not because of some river story." Her aunt's face became serious. Child, you don't play with promises made to the spirit world. They are not like promises to your friend that you can break and just say sorry. Auntie, this is 2024, Ebele said, adding more pepper to her soup. We don't believe in those old village stories anymore. We have hospitals now. We have churches. Those mermaid stories are just tales to scare children. The old woman shook her head sadly, but said nothing more. Some lessons, she knew, cannot be taught with words. Obinna heard the conversation. That night, as they lay in bed, he said, "Maybe we should go to the river, just once, just to be safe." "Safe from what?" Ebele laughed. "You're educated. You went to university. Don't tell me you believe in mermaids." Obinna wanted to argue, but he kept quiet. Marriage had taught him to choose his battles. It started on a night when the full moon was so bright it almost looked like daytime. Ebele and Obinna were sleeping when they heard crying. Not normal crying, this was different. Desperate, scared. They rushed to the children's room. Adaeze was sitting up in bed, tears running down her face, her eyes wide open but looking at nothing. "Adaeze, what's wrong?" Ebele asked, holding her daughter. "The water woman," Adaeze said, her voice strange and far away. "She's calling me. She says Mama forgot her. She says we need to come home." "It's just a bad dream," Ebele said, but her hands were shaking. "Go back to sleep." But Adaeze kept crying. "She's angry. Mama, the water woman is very, very angry." Obinna looked at his wife. His eyes said, "I told you." The next week, something even stranger happened. Madu, who loved playing with water, suddenly refused to bathe. When Ebele tried to pour water on him, he screamed like the water was fire. "It burns," he cried, running away. "The water is angry. It wants to hurt me." "Water cannot be angry," Ebele said, frustrated. "You're being a silly boy." But no matter what they tried, Madu would not let water touch him. He started to smell bad. Other children at the playground wouldn't play with him anymore. "Your son stinks," one mother said rudely. Ebele took Madu to the clinic. The doctor checked everything, his skin, his temperature, his blood. Everything was normal. "Maybe it's psychological," the doctor said, using big words that Ebele didn't fully understand. "Something is making him afraid of water in his mind." They went to their pastor. He prayed over Madu, using anointing oil and shouting, "Fire! Fire! Fire!" Nothing changed. Ebele's aunt visited again. She looked at the children and shook her head. "Take them to the river," she said simply. "You know what you need to do?" "I'm not taking my children to any river," Ebele snapped. "This is a medical problem, not a spiritual one." But deep down, in a place she didn't want to look, Ebele was getting scared. Then, both children got sick. It wasn't like normal sickness. They didn't have fever or cough. They just became weak, like something was slowly draining their energy. Adaeze stopped playing. She would just sit and stare at nothing, her eyes empty. Madu stopped eating. Food would just stay in his mouth. He looked at his parents like he didn't recognize them anymore. Their skin started to change too. It became pale, almost see-through. In certain lights, you could see their veins clearly, like rivers under their skin. The doctors were confused. They did tests, so many tests, blood tests, scan tests, all kinds of tests. "We can't find anything wrong," they said. "But the children are definitely getting weaker." Ebele stopped sleeping. She would sit by their beds all night, watching them breathe, terrified they would stop. Obinna aged 10 years in 1 month. His hair started turning gray at the edges. Then came the dream. Ebele was so tired that she fell asleep sitting in a chair next to the children's beds. In the dream, she was standing by the river, but it wasn't the peaceful river she remembered. The water was dark and violent, crashing against the banks like it was angry. The moon above was blood red. Mirioma rose from the water, but she no longer looked beautiful. Her eyes glowed with a terrible light. Her teeth looked sharp. Her tail thrashed the water, creating waves. "You promised," the mermaid said, and her voice was like thunder. "You stood here, and you promised me." "I'm sorry," Ebele cried in the dream. "I forgot. I was busy. Please understand." "Busy?" The mermaid laughed, but it wasn't a happy laugh. It was cold and bitter. "You were too busy for the one who gave you everything? When you had nothing, when everyone mocked you, when you were desperate and broken, who helped you? Who?" "You did," Ebele whispered. "And when you got what you wanted, what did you do? You forgot me, like I was nothing, like your promise was nothing." The mermaid's voice became quieter, but somehow more frightening. "Do you know how many full moons have passed? 24. 24 times the moon came, and you didn't come. 24 times I waited and you ignored me." "I'll come now," Ebele said. "I'll bring them now, please." The mermaid tilted her head, studying Ebele like a cat studies a mouse. "Your children belong to the river now," she said. "I gave them life, and they are part of me. They are calling to me in their sleep. They feel the pull of the water. Soon, very soon, they will answer that call, and they will come home. To me, forever." "No," Ebele screamed. "Please, they are my children. I'll do anything. I'll come every week, every day. Just don't take them." The mermaid began to sink back into the water. "Some debts," she said, "cannot be paid once they're too late." Ebele woke up screaming. Obina jumped up. "What? What happened?" "The river," Ebele gasped. "I need to go to the river. Now!" She looked at the clock. It was 3 a.m. Outside, the full moon was shining bright. "I'm coming with you," Obina said. "No, stay with the children. If anything happens." She couldn't finish the sentence. Ebele ran out of the house in her nightgown, not even wearing shoes. The path that had once scared her was nothing compared to the fear in her heart now. She ran like she had never run before. Branches caught her arms and face. Thorns stabbed her feet. She didn't care. When she reached the river, she collapsed at the edge. "Emirioma!" She screamed into the night. "I'm here! I'm sorry! Please, please forgive me!" The water was still. "I was wrong," Ebele cried, tears and sweat mixing on her face. "I was foolish. I was ungrateful. You gave me everything and I forgot you. But please, don't punish my children for my mistake." Still nothing. Ebele stayed there, begging, crying, praying. She promised everything. She said she would come every day. She said she would tell everyone about the river spirit. She said she would bring gifts. The moon slowly moved across the sky. Hours passed. As the first light of dawn began to appear, Ebele's voice was nearly gone. Her throat was raw from crying. "Please," she whispered one last time. "Please." The water remained silent. With a heart full of dread, Ebele stood up and walked home. Her feet were bleeding. Her nightgown was torn, but she didn't notice any of it. She walked slowly, like someone going to face something terrible. When Ebele reached home, she knew something was wrong. She could feel it in the air, like electricity before a storm. The front door was open. Obina was standing there, frozen like a statue. His face looked like he had seen death itself. "No," Ebele whispered. "No, no, no." She pushed past him and ran to the children's room. Madu and Adaize were lying in their beds. They looked peaceful, like they were sleeping. Their faces were calm, almost smiling. But they weren't breathing. Ebele touched Madu's hand. It was cold, so cold. She checked Adaize's chest. Nothing. No heartbeats. No movement. No, Ebele said. Then louder. No! She grabbed Madu and shook him. Wake up! Baby, wake up! Mama is here. Wake up! Obinna pulled her away gently. He was crying silently, tears just falling down his face like rain. They're gone, he said, his voice broken. I came to check on them when you left, and they were fine, sleeping. Then just before dawn, I heard water, rushing water. But there was no water anywhere. And when I came in, they were like this. Ebele looked at her babies. Really looked. Their lips were blue, not like when someone is sick, blue like someone who had drowned. Their hair was wet, soaking wet. Water was still dripping onto the pillows. But there was no water in the room. No cups, no leaks, nothing. Their skin had that strange pale quality, but now it looked almost translucent. Like glass. Like something not quite human. Ebele remembered the mermaid's words. They belong to the river now. The sound that came from Ebele was not human. It was the sound of a mother's heart breaking into a million pieces. It was the sound of regret so deep it had no words. She collapsed between the two beds, holding both her children's cold hands. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm so sorry. Mama was foolish. Mama forgot. I'm sorry. But sorry was too late. The village came when they heard the news. Women cried. Men stood with their heads down. Children peeked through windows, confused about why everyone was sad. The pastor came. He prayed long prayers, but they felt empty. What could prayer do now? Ebele's aunt came. She looked at the children, looked at the wet hair, looked at the blue lips. She knew what had happened, but she said nothing. Some truths are too painful to speak out loud. At the funeral, people said many things. God works in mysterious ways. They are in a better place now. God giveth and God taketh away. But Ebele knew the truth. This wasn't God. This was her. Her forgetfulness, her pride, her broken promise. After everyone left, after they buried the small coffins, after the house became quiet again, Ebele's aunt came to sit with her. The river gives, the old woman said softly. And the river takes back. A promise to the spirits is not like a promise to humans. It cannot be broken without consequences. Why didn't you make me understand? Ebele asked, her voice dead. Would you have listened? Her aunt replied. You were so happy, so busy with life. You thought you knew better than the old ways. This generation, you people think education and churches have killed the ancient powers. But they are still there, waiting, watching, remembering. Ebele said nothing. What could she say? That night, she went back to the river one last time. She didn't call for the mermaid. She just sat there, staring at the water. You won, she said quietly. You took everything from me. Are you happy now? The water rippled slightly. Ebele thought she saw something shimmer beneath the surface. Two small figures, playing and laughing. She blinked, and they were gone. Or maybe they were never there at all. The lesson we must never forget. Ebele and Obinna stayed married, but their home was never the same. The laughter was gone. The joy was buried with their children. Ebele became a shadow, moving through life, but not really living. People saw her sometimes, sitting by the river, staring at the water for hours. Some say she was waiting for her children to come back. Others say she was just remembering. But everyone who heard her story learned an important lesson. When you make a promise, especially to something you don't fully understand, you must keep it. Not because you are afraid of punishment, but because your word should mean something. When life gives you blessings, don't become so comfortable that you forget where they came from. Gratitude is not just saying thank you once. It's remembering, it's honoring, it's keeping your promises. And most importantly, don't let good times make you forget the bad times that brought you to your knees. Because the same powers that can lift you up can also bring you down. Ebele got her miracle. She got her twins. She got everything she begged for. But she lost it all because she forgot one simple thing: to be grateful, to remember, to keep her word. Now she has nothing but memories and regret. And somewhere in that river, 2 children play in the water, belonging to a world between ours and something else. They are neither fully alive nor fully dead. They are the price of a broken promise. Remember, your promises matter, your gratitude matters. Never forget those who helped you when you had nothing. Because one day, you might need them again, and they will remember if you forgot them.